Today we will discuss about derivative of inverse trigonometric function. Now before I start the derivative of inverse trigonometric function, just will give a brief idea of inverse function, trigonometric inverse functions. So we know y is equal to sine inverse x. Y equal to sine inverse x. What do you mean by that? If I say sine inverse of 1 by 2 is 30 degrees. Why? Why sine inverse of 1 by 2 is 30 degrees? Because sine 30's value is 1 by 2. But you know that sine inverse of 1 by 2 is not 150 degrees. Although sine 150 is 1 by 2. Sine 30 is also 1 by 2, sine 150 is also 1 by 2, but sine inverse of 1 by 2 is not 150 degrees. Because the domain of this function, range of this function lies between minus 90 and plus 90. Which means, you know that the value of this x is a number between minus 1 and plus 1. Because maximum value of sine theta is 1 and minimum value of sine theta is minus 1. So the value of x will lie between, minus 1 and plus 1, and the value of y will lie between minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. To understand this, let's have a look at it. This is x-axis and this is a y-axis. Minus 1, 1. So the x values lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Value of y lies between minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. Sine inverse of 1 is minus pi by 2. Sine inverse of minus 1 is minus pi by 2. Sine inverse of 1 is pi by 2. It is this way. Sine inverse of 0 is 0. So this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. For each value of x, for example half, this half will be somewhere 30 degrees, pi by 6. Minus half will be minus pi by 6. So like this, each value of x is related to a unique value in the y, and you can see that 0 to 1, x is positive, that is the angle is also positive, and 0 to minus 1, the angle is negative, because you know that sine theta is negative in the fourth quadrant. So if you look at the quadrant, sine inverse of x will lie between minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. So this is what you have to remember. Whenever I write y equal to sine inverse x, x cannot take a value other than minus 1 and plus 1. If I ask you what is sine inverse of 2, you cannot find an angle. You cannot find sine theta to be 2 anytime, because the maximum value of sine theta is 1. So such things are not possible. So that's why x should lie between minus 1 and plus 1. And when you calculate the value of sine inverse x, naturally it will lie in the first quadrant and fourth quadrant. That's why y is from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. This is what you have to remember. Similarly, cos inverse of x. If I take y is equal to cos inverse of x. Again, cos theta's maximum value is 1 and minimum value is minus 1. So the value of x will lie between minus 1 and plus 1. And you know that cos theta is positive in first quadrant, negative in second quadrant. So the value of the angle will lie between 0 to pi. Same way, like before, we can again imagine this is minus 1 to 1, the x-axis, and you will have 0 to pi. That means corresponding to sine inverse of cos inverse of 1 is 0. Cos inverse of minus 1 is pi. Then cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2. So you can understand. Now any number here, next will be here, next will be here, next will be here, like this. Each and every value of x corresponding to each and every value of x between minus 1 and plus 1, the angle will lie between 0 to pi. That's why the domain of this function is from -1 to +1 and range is from 0 to pi. This is what you have to remember. All others we can just derive from this only. Now y is equal to tan inverse x. Now tan inverse, you know that tan 90 is infinity, tan of minus 90 is minus infinity. So x can take any real number from minus infinity to plus infinity, and the angle will lie between minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. You have seen that there is no equal to sign here because tan infinity is not a real number, and so you know tan of 90 is not defined, right? So infinity is not a real number, therefore pi by 2 also is not included in the value. Then comes to y is equal to cot inverse x. Again, x can be any real number, and it will be same as cos value, 0 less than y less than pi. In the same manner, they cannot be equal to sign is not there in this. So if you know sin inverse and cos inverse, we can derive others by just looking at it. Then y is equal to sec inverse of x. Sec inverse is a reciprocal of sec theta is reciprocal of cos theta, and you know that cos theta's value will lie between minus 1 and plus 1. Cos of any angle's value will lie between minus 1 and plus 1. Its reciprocal will lie from minus 1 to a minus infinity. So 1 to infinity will be sec theta, and here also 1 by cos theta. That means if I take any number 0 to 1, its reciprocal will be 1 to infinity. If I take any number from 0 to minus 1, its reciprocal will be minus infinity. Therefore, the modulus of x is greater than or equal to 1. What do you mean by this statement? Either x is greater than 1, that means 1 to infinity, or x is less than minus 1. So both together we can write as modulus of x is from greater than or equal to 1. Or another way of writing it is, you can write minus infinity to 1 union 1 to infinity. This both means the same thing only. Anyhow you feel like you can write either right this way or this way. And the value of y, that means the range, will be same as cos 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi, but y should not be pi by 2. If y is pi by 2, then what happens is it will become cos pi by 2 is 0, sec pi by 2 will become 1 upon 0. So 1 upon 0 is not a real number, hence we will exclude pi by 2. Lastly, y equal to cosec inverse x. Same like sec inverse, it will be modulus of x greater than or equal to 1, because any reciprocal of these numbers will be from 1 to infinity and minus 1 to minus infinity. And the range of y, range will be same as of that of sine. So minus pi by 2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi by 2. But when does sine become 0? At 0. So y should not be equal to 0. This is the domain and range of the inverse trigonometric function. You must know this by heart. So I will say like this. Sin inverse x value lies in first and fourth quadrant, which is written as minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Cos inverse x value will lie between 0 to pi, that is first and second quadrant. Others are the same way. Tan inverse will be same as sin inverse x. So we can group them. We can see that this and this, they fall in the same category. Only a minor change. That is, all three of them will lie in which quadrant? First and fourth. And the other three will lie in first and fourth. Other three will lie in first and second. So that's what you have to remember. The sin inverse, tan inverse, and cosec inverse will lie in minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Cos inverse, cot inverse, sec inverse will lie from 0 to pi. This is what you have to remember. Wherever denominator becomes 0, those should be excluded. For example, sine 0 is 0. So it's a reciprocal. 1 by sine 0, cosec 0 should not happen. Therefore, y should not be 0 in case of cosec inverse x. Wherever denominator becomes 0, those should be excluded. Those angles should be excluded from the range. Now we will find out derivative of all the inverse functions. We know that I want to write y is equal to sin inverse x. I want to find dy by dx. My aim is to find out what is the derivative of sine inverse x. But I do not have a formula. This, in fact, the previous chapter we taught you how to do it. These were the steps for finding the derivative of sine of an inverse function. When I given an inverse function, how to find its derivative. First, make x a subject. Differentiate with respect to y. Then find derivative of dy by dx by taking reciprocal. Then change it back to x by using the first step. So first of all, whenever I write y is equal to sine inverse x, first thing to remember, minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1 and minus pi by 2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi by 2. So whenever I write sine inverse x, these two are understood. Even without saying x as a number should be from minus 1 and plus 1 and y should be from minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2. That's compulsory. Now make x as a subject. So x equal to sine y. Now differentiate with respect to y. So dx by dy is cos y. Derivative of sine y with respect to y is cos y. Then dy by dx, we are asked to find derivative of y is 1 by cos y. That is, I'll write one more step. That is 1 upon dx by dy. That is 1 by cos y. In fact, this is my answer. But I'm not happy with this answer because my question is in x. So my answer also should be in x. So what I do here is, I write this cos y as 1 upon root of 1 minus sine square y. How do I write that? We know that cos square theta plus sine square theta is 1. Therefore, cos square theta is 1 minus sine square theta. Therefore, cos theta is plus or minus root 1 minus sine square theta. But you have noticed that I did not write plus or minus over here. There is a reason behind it. Cos theta is positive in the first and fourth quadrant. Our y, that means what I am writing, cos y is plus or minus root 1 minus sine square y. Now I will remove the y because y is a number between minus 90 and plus 90. That means y belongs to first quadrant and fourth quadrant. First and fourth quadrant. So if y belongs to first and fourth quadrant, root of 1 minus sine square y should have a positive value. That's why I have written only positive. So in your examination, you will need to mention that. So when you write the derivation of this, you will write like this. Since cos y is plus or minus root 1 minus sine square y. But minus pi by 2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi by 2. Therefore, cos y is positive. Or cos y is not negative. Cos y can be 0 also. Cos y non-negative. Hence, I can write this as 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. Sin y is nothing but x. So I converted the function back to x. So here is my first formula. Derivative of sine inverse x is 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So this is a very simple method. So once again, let's learn the steps. First, y equal to sine inverse x. Make x as a subject. Differentiate with respect to y. But we need different derivative with respect to x, y with respect to x. So we need to find dy by dx. Our aim is to find dy by dx. From dx by dy, how to get dy by dx is by taking reciprocal. After this, most important, cos y should be converted to sin y and sin y should be replaced by x. Once again, cos y over here should be converted to sin y and sin y should be replaced to x so that your answer is in x. So you know cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1. So cos square theta is plus or minus root of 1 minus sin square theta. But here negative will not happen because y lies between minus 90 and plus 90. So cos y got to be negative. That's why cos y cannot be negative. So cos y got to be positive. That's why only positive sign. Hence the derivative of sin inverse x is 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. Do the derivative of cos inverse x. So much explanation I am not going to give. Y is equal to cos inverse of x. Minus 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi. Now make x as a subject, x equal to cos y. Differentiate with respect to y, dx by dy is minus sin y. So dy by dx is 1 upon dx by dy. that is 1 upon minus sine y. Now convert this into cos and then cos to x, because I want to convert this answer into x. So how do you convert it to x? Sine y should be converted to cos y and cos y should be converted to x. So I write this as, so dy by dx is equal to minus 1 upon root of 1 minus cos square y. Since sine y is plus or minus root 1 minus cos square y. But again, y belongs to 0 to pi. So sine y is a non-negative number. So sine y is either greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, I can write this as only positive sign. So sine y is a positive number. So minus 1 upon root of cos y is x. So 1 minus x square. So you can notice that the difference between derivative of cos inverse x and derivative of sin inverse x is only a minus sign. So you should remember this formula. Derivative of sin inverse x is 1 upon root 1 minus x square. Derivative of cos inverse is minus 1 upon root 1 minus. Same rule applicable. If c comes, negative sign. Next is y equal to tan inverse x. No much problem here. X belongs to a set of real numbers. Minus pi by 2 less than y less than pi by 2. X can take any real number. Tan inverse of 2000 also you can find. Tan inverse of 1000 also you can find. Any x value, tan inverse of any number can be found out. So we make x as a subject. X as a subject. Differentiate with respect to y. So sec square y. Suppose sec square is always a positive number. So it's a reciprocal dy by dx. 1 upon dx by dy. So 1 upon sec square y. Now convert sec square y to x. Convert sec square to tan to x. You know that sec square theta is 1 plus tan square theta. Sec square theta is 1 plus tan square theta. So 1 upon 1 plus x square. We don't have to talk about any positive negative here. Square of any number is positive all the time. Sec square theta is always 1 plus tan square theta. Hence our answer is 1 upon 1 plus x square. So derivative of tan inverse x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. So y equal to cot inverse x. So derivative, we started with the same domain and range etc. So dy x is equal to cot y. So dx by dy is minus cosec square y. So dy by dx is 1 upon dx by dy. That is minus 1 upon cosec square y. Now cosec square y should be changed to cot y and cot y should be changed to x. So minus 1 upon 1 plus cot square y. Cosec square theta is 1 plus cot square theta. Hence answer is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. So that's your answer. So every time you have to follow this step. Y, make x a subject, differentiate with respect to y, take the reciprocal, convert it back to x. This is the steps to be followed. Next is y is equal to sec inverse x. So x is equal to sec y. Dx by dy is sec y into tan y. Dy by dx is 1 upon sec y into tan y. Now there is an important thing. Now sec y and tan y, let's have a look at the quadrant in which they lie. First of all, we have to convert them into sec. Now tan square y is sec square y minus 1. So tan y is plus or minus root sec square y minus 1. And y lies in first and second quadrant. So tan y can be positive, tan y can be negative, both, or depending on first quadrant and second quadrant. But one thing you must remember, when I take the product of this both, in the first quadrant, sec y is positive, tan y is also positive. In second quadrant, sec y is negative, tan y is negative. That means both the time their product will be always positive. So if the product is positive, what I got to do is, I will write to convert it into sec y, I'll put a modulus for sec y and I'll put a sec square y minus 1. Now this is all the time positive. Whatever the value of sec y, because once you take the modulus, if I would have taken the other way, suppose second quadrant, what happened? If there was no modulus, what would happen? Sec y would become negative and this would be a positive number and they both will not become equal. But once I take the modulus, they will be always equal because this quantity is all the time positive in this quadrant. Therefore, your answer is 1 upon modulus of x root of x square minus 1. You need to write this way. There are sec y into tan y is greater than 0 because 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi. Because y lies between 0 to pi, sec y into tan y is greater than 0. So take a modulus to make it positive, and this will be your answer for derivative of sec inverse x. So derivative of sec inverse x is 1 upon modulus of x into root of x square minus 1. So this modulus of x is very important. Students do forget this. So you need to learn with the modulus. Next is y is cosec inverse x. So x is equal to cosec y dx by dy is minus cosec y into cot y. So dy by dx is 1 upon minus cosec y into cot y. Again, like the previous one, y lies in minus pi by 2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to pi by 2. Therefore, cosec y into cot y is greater than or equal to 0. There's a positive number. So to make this one positive, so my aim is convert everything to x. X is cosec. So this cot y should be made to cosec y. So my answer will be minus 1 cosec y into, the which should have a modulus, into root of cosec square y minus 1. Now this is all the time positive because I have taken modulus here. So my answer is minus 1 upon modulus of x into root of x square minus 1. So we need to learn basically only 3 formula: sine inverse, tan inverse and cos inverse. And take all others are just only negative sign. So very easy to learn the formula. First problem in this category is using derivative. Prove that sine inverse x plus cos inverse x is pi by 2. So what I do is, I call y is equal to sine inverse x plus cos inverse x. I'm going to differentiate with respect to x. Differentiating with respect to x, d by dx of sine inverse x plus d by dx of cos inverse x. What is the derivative of sine inverse x? 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. What is the derivative of cos inverse x? Minus 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So what happened? Derivative became 0. Derivative is becoming 0 means the function should be a constant, which means sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x should be a constant. What does constant mean? Whatever the value of x may be, this value will never change. So what I'll do is, I'll put some value for x and get what is this constant. That means x is half, what is the value of k? X is 0, what is the value of k? X is 1, what is the value of k? All should remain the same. So let me put x as some particular number between minus 1 and plus 1. So put x as 0. So what does it mean? Sine inverse of 0 plus cos inverse of 0 should be k, because for all values of x, this should be k only. Whether I put x as 0 or 1 or a half does not matter. Sine inverse of 0 is 0. Cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2. Why cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2? Cos 90 is 0. So cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2. So k's value is pi by 2. So if I can say always sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x should be equal to k's value is how much? Pi by 2. So it should be equal to pi by 2. This is a way I can prove that sine inverse x plus cos inverse x is always pi by 2. Same way you can prove that tan inverse x plus cot inverse x also will be pi by 2, because tan inverse x derivative and cot inverse x derivative will become 0. So tan inverse x plus cot inverse x will be k. Put x as some pi by 4 or something and you will get the value of k, and that's how you can answer. Let's recap the formula once again. We know that derivative of sine inverse of x is 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So my question is, if they both are same, if I have any other term in place of x, if I want to find, that means both are not equal. This is x, that's different, not same. In that case, how you find the derivative? U is a function of x. This will be, first you will differentiate sine inverse u with respect to u, then differentiate u with respect to x. They both same. So your answer will be 1 upon root 1 minus u square because derivative sine inverse of x is 1 upon root 1 minus x square. Say derivative sine inverse u with respect to u will be the same formula. Only thing in place of x it is u into derivative of u. So let's see the application of this. Suppose I want to find derivative of sine inverse of root x. So are they same? Are they same? No, not same. They are not equal. Because they are not equal, what will be the method of differentiation? First, you will apply 1 by root 1 minus u square, 1 by root 1 minus root x the whole square into derivative of, what does u stands for? U stands for the bracket. What is inside the bracket? Root x into derivative of root x. Here, what is u? What is u here? Here, u is replaced by root x. So derivative of u means whatever inside the bracket, its derivative should be taken again. So your answer became 1 upon root 1 minus x into derivative of root x, 1 by 2 root x. So I can write the answer as 2 root of x into 1 minus x. I can write the answer finally in this manner, or x square, x minus x square, etc. Same way, let's have a look at derivative of cos inverse. d by dx of cos inverse x is minus 1 upon root 1 minus x square. So you can see the variable of differentiation are same. If they are not same, what would be my answer? d by d of cos inverse u. d by dx of cos inverse u. d by dx of cos inverse u will be, first differentiate cos inverse u with respect to u. So minus 1 upon root 1 minus u square into derivative of u. Same way I can write d by dx of tan inverse x is 1 by 1 plus x square. So what will be derivative of tan inverse u? Not same, they are different. Derivative of tan inverse x 1 upon 1 plus x square. So derivative of tan inverse u with respect to u, 1 plus u square into derivative of u. All of this you can generalize same way. Derivative of sec inverse of x, 1 upon modulus of x into root of x square minus 1. So derivative of sec inverse u will be 1 upon modulus of u into root of u square minus 1 into derivative of u. So same way, cot inverse will be minus, cosec inverse u will be minus. So we can use the same formula to do the problems. So remember, what does u stands for? Whatever inside the bracket. So let's have a look at this. Derivative of tan inverse of log x. So what is inside the bracket? Log x. What is the derivative of tan inverse x? 1 upon 1 plus x square. So 1 upon 1 plus, in place of x you will have log x into derivative of log x. So you need to remember this formula. Tan inverse derivative is 1 upon 1 plus x square. Tan inverse log x, 1 upon 1 plus log x the whole square into derivative of whatever in place of x. What is in place of x? Log x. So your answer is 1 upon 1 plus log x the whole square into 1 by x. This will be your answer. Like this we can find the derivative of all the functions. Y is equal to cos inverse of root of 1 plus x square by 2. Now I want to differentiate with respect to x. So find dy by dx. So I'll start as usual. Differentiating with respect to x. dy by dx will be d by dx of cos inverse root of 1 plus x square by 2. Immediately recollect the derivative of cos inverse. What is the derivative of cos inverse? d by dx of cos inverse u is minus 1 upon root 1 minus u square into derivative of u. So I can write this as minus 1 upon root of 1 minus root 1 plus x square by 2 the whole square into d by dx of root of 1 plus x square by 2. Whatever inside the bracket, its derivative has to be taken again. So I can write this as minus 1 upon root of, now how do you find the derivative? How do you square it? Square and square root went away. So 1 plus x square by 2. And what is the derivative of root u? d by dx of root u is 1 by 2 root u into derivative of u. So I can write this as 1 by 2 root u into derivative of u. Now what simplification we can do here? When you take LCM here 2, there will be a root 2 here. So minus 1 upon root of, I don't have space to write this, so I will write it up here. So I can write this as minus 1 upon root of 2 minus 1 plus x square by 2 inside the root. Then here a 1 by 2 is there, root of 1 plus x square, this also inside the root, and here my answer will be 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 came outside, derivative of 1 0, derivative of x square is 2x. So I notice that this 2 will get cancelled, root 2 into root 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So my final answer will be minus 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. 2 minus 1 is minus 1 minus x square into root of 1 plus x square into x. This further can be simplified. Finally, I can write this answer as minus x upon root of 1 minus x square into 1 plus x square is 1 minus x raised to 4. So finally, I can write then this answer as minus x upon root of 1 minus x raised to 4. Now, we'll have a look at this problem. This is the last problem of this category. I'll show you a small trick in this problem. What is the meaning of tan square theta? Tan square theta means tan theta the whole square. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to simplify this function. I'm going to not going to apply the derivative directly. Now the next part of this next module is completely simplifying and differentiating inverse function. It's a very interesting chapter. So one trailer I'm going to show you. Now you can write this as tan of tan inverse root 1 plus x square the whole square. Because tan square theta means tan theta the whole square. Tan and tan inverse, let's see, tan of tan inverse of 1. What happens? This is tan of tan inverse of 1 is 45 degrees. And tan 45 degrees is 1. So what do you notice? Tan inverse of tan 1. They both will get cancelled and you are getting answer as 1. So whenever tan and tan inverse comes, tan of tan inverse comes, they get cancelled. So the tan and tan inverse got cancelled. So it became 1 plus x square. And now you can differentiate with respect to x. So dy by dx will be derivative 1 0, derivative x square 2x, and that's answer. So this is how we simplify and differentiate. So next exercise is completely how to simplify an inverse geometry function and find its derivative. That also I'll take it in 2 or 3 modules so that each day you will learn little.